Welcome back to Simple English Daily. This is the place to help you learn English through meaningful stories about life. Let's dive into today's topic right now. Imagine your Monday morning. The alarm clock rings and you wake up feeling exhausted. The first thing you do is reach for your phone to check messages and new work emails. Your mind starts working from this very moment. You rush to brush your teeth, rush to eat breakfast, and then rush into the heavy traffic outside. We are living in an era where people often see busyness as a badge of honor. But please stop for a moment and ask yourself, are you working to live, or are you truly living just to work? The biggest trap today is not working too much, but the fact that we never truly stop working. Technology has blurred all boundaries. It makes us bring work to the dinner table and bring worries into our sleep. We even carry stress into our vacations, becoming machines that operate constantly because we fear the feeling of having nothing to do. Many people are proud of being busy, but behind that is often an exhausted soul and a tired body. Frequent neck pain or constant insomnia are SOS signals from your body. To change this, you need to redefine success. Success is not just a title on a business card or money in the bank. It is also about being the master of your own time. Working to live means seeing work as a tool to help you have finances, care for your family, and explore the world. You are a human being, not a machine, so start setting boundaries for yourself. Setting boundaries is not laziness. It is respect for your health and your soul. Learn to say no to things that arise after hours. Be brave enough to turn off your phone after 8 p.m. to truly be present with your loved ones. You don't need to work 12 hours a day to be successful. Reality has proven that when the mind rests, you will work much more creatively and effectively. 1 hour of alert work is much more valuable than many hours of working in fatigue and distraction. The world will not stop if you take a rest, because the company will still run and emails will still be there tomorrow morning. But your youth will pass by very quickly, while the growth of your children or the health of your parents waits for no one. Don't let yourself regret later for having a brilliant track record but an empty soul. Start with small things today by finishing work on time. Walk under the trees and feel the breath of life around you. That is when you truly start living instead of just existing to work. If this lesson touches your heart, please like, share the video, and subscribe to Simple English Daily to change together every day. After identifying the trap of busyness, the most important question is, how do we actually get out? Many of us fear that if we stop, we will fall behind or be seen as lazy. But the truth is quite the opposite, because rest is an essential part of an effective work process. You cannot drive a car forever without stopping for gas, and your mind also needs breaks to recharge for bigger goals. The first step to change is learning to manage energy instead of managing time. Instead of trying to fill every gap in your schedule with work, make room for activities that nourish your soul. It could be 30 minutes of reading a favorite book, or simply sipping a cup of tea without thinking about deadlines. These small moments help you realize that life is still beautiful even when you are doing nothing. Next, bravely face the fear of missing out, or FOMO. We often check our phones constantly for fear of missing an important message, but the truth is that 90% of those messages can wait until the next morning. When you turn off notifications and put your phone aside, you are sending a strong signal to your brain, Now is time for myself. This is the first and most important boundary to protect your personal happiness. Remember, the purpose of work is to serve life, not the other way around. You work hard to care for your loved ones, but if you are too busy to have time for them, all those efforts become meaningless. Children need the presence of their parents more than expensive toys, and your partner needs a sincere conversation more than a luxury gift bought with stress. Finally, allow yourself to be imperfect. You don't need to be the best, fastest, or busiest worker to feel valuable. Your value lies in how you love, how you feel life, and how you treat yourself. When you start to cherish the present moments, you will see that working to live is not just a slogan, but an art of living happily. Once you understand the value of rest, the next step is to take action to protect it. Boundaries do not appear naturally. You must be the one to create and keep them. Many of us fear that setting limits will upset colleagues or dissatisfy the boss. But in reality, the most effective workers are always those who know when to stop. When you respect your own time, others will begin to respect it too. Start by setting physical boundaries. If you work from home, try to have a separate workspace. When you step away from that desk, it means work is over. If you work in an office, learn to clean your desk before leaving. This act is like a ritual to signal the brain, work time is over, lifetime has begun. Do not bring your laptop into the bedroom, because that is a place for relaxation and dreams, not for solving reports. Next is the boundary of technology, which is silently stealing your peace. Try applying a curfew rule for electronic devices. For example, after 8 p.m., turn off all notifications from work apps like Slack or email. Instead of scrolling mindlessly, spend that time truly talking to family or playing with pets. You will be surprised to see that even if you don't check messages immediately, the world still operates stably and no disaster happens. Besides, you also need to learn how to say no politely but firmly. When a request arises at the end of the day, you can reply, "I have noted this issue and will solve it first thing tomorrow morning." This helps you stay professional while protecting your private time. You don't need to explain too much about why you need to rest, because rest is a fundamental right of every human being. Finally, learn to build a transition ritual between work and life. It could be listening to a favorite playlist on the way home, or taking a shower as soon as you step through the door to wash away the day's pressure. These small actions help your mind understand, the work play has ended, now it's time to be yourself. Remember, you work to build your dream life, so don't let work become a barrier that prevents you from enjoying that very dream. One of the biggest reasons we can't stop working is identity confusion. Many of us unintentionally let our job titles define our entire being. When asked, "Who are you?" the first answer is often, "I am an engineer," "I am a manager," or "I am a teacher." We cling to work because we fear that without it, we will become anonymous and worthless. But remember, a job is just a role you play for a few hours a day. Your true nature is much broader than that. You are a devoted child, a reliable friend, or a soul who loves art. If you only focus on working, you are neglecting the nourishment of other parts of your soul. When work gets tough, you will easily fall into a crisis because it feels like your entire world is collapsing. To regain balance, you need to learn how to invest in yourself outside the office. Look for hobbies that have nothing to do with making money. It could be learning an instrument, joining a painting class, or simply tending to a small garden. These activities help you build self-esteem based on personal growth rather than a boss's praise or a monthly paycheck. When you have a rich life outside, you will enter the office with a more confident and relaxed mindset. Look at the difference between someone who sees work as everything and someone who has a diverse life. Diversity in personal identity is like investing in different types of capital. If work has trouble, you still have family, health, and other passions to support you. Don't let your life be a boring straight line from home to the office and back. Instead, turn it into a colorful painting with rich experiences. You don't need to do something grand to be valuable. Just living kindly, loving yourself, and enjoying simple pleasures is already a resounding success. Finally, ask yourself an important question. If this job disappeared tomorrow, what would I have left? If the answer worries you, that is the time to start rebuilding your inner world. Don't let yourself look back in old age only to see dry reports instead of brilliant memories. Always remember, you were born to experience this life to the fullest. You are not a gear in an industrial machine. You are a free human being. Many of us still believe in an old concept: the longer we sit in the office, the harder we work. But in reality, the human brain is not a computer that can run at full capacity for 8 or 10 consecutive hours. True productivity is not about the hours you put in, but the quality of focus during that time. When you work in a state of fatigue, you waste more time solving simple tasks, and small mistakes start to appear more frequently. Try shifting your mindset from working hard to working smart. Instead of sitting at your desk all day, break down your time and focus entirely on the most important tasks. Once you work with high concentration, you can complete a whole day's workload in just a few hours. The remaining time is your reward to rest and recharge. You must understand that a well-rested brain is much sharper and more creative than an exhausted one. Learn to distinguish between being busy and being effective. Some people are busy all day, but at the end of the day, they haven't finished anything important. This is because they are caught up in trivial tasks and have no clear plan. If you know how to prioritize and work strategically, you will find that you don't need to sacrifice personal time for success. Rest is not the enemy of productivity. It is the fuel that takes you further on your career path. The secret of the most successful people is not that they work more than others, but that they know when to stop. When you leave the office on time, you allow yourself time to recover physically and mentally. This helps you return to work tomorrow with fresh energy and creative ideas. Don't try to be the last person to leave the company. Try to be the most effective person so you can go home early to your loved ones. When you start setting boundaries and working less, a strange feeling will appear: emptiness. Many of us are so used to being busy that a relaxed evening makes us feel restless. You might feel guilty for doing nothing. You fear wasting time while the world rushes by outside. But remember, silence is not dead time. It is the space for your soul to breathe. Learning to enjoy silence is a vital skill in the journey to find balance. Don't rush to fill every free moment by scrolling through your phone or watching mindless videos. Instead, try facing the silence. Sit on the balcony watching the streets, or take time to listen to your own thoughts. These moments help you reconnect with yourself and understand more clearly what you truly want in life. Silence is also fertile ground where the best ideas sprout. When you stop forcing your brain to work, it begins to reorganize information and bring you unexpected solutions. You will see that the happiest people are not those with the busiest schedules. They are the ones who know how to enjoy a peaceful afternoon without feeling restless. They understand that the value of life lies not just in what they do, but in how they perceive the world around them. Treat free time as a well-deserved reward for your efforts. Instead of worrying about the future or regretting the past, focus entirely on the present moment. A delicious dinner, a deep sleep, or a leisurely stroll are all of great value to your mental health. When you appreciate silence, you will no longer be swept away by the whirlwind of haste and stress. In the end, inner peace is the ultimate measure of a quality life. Don't let the noise of work drown out the voice of your heart. Learn to slow down, observe more, and love yourself more deeply. When you find peace within your soul, you will realize that working to live not only saves your money but also preserves your true life in every moment. We have traveled a long journey together to understand the value of balance, from identifying signs of burnout and setting boundaries to rediscovering personal identity outside of work. However, knowledge will only remain knowledge if we do not take action. Changing a habit deeply rooted in the subconscious is not an overnight task. It is a long-distance run where you need persistence and compassion for yourself. There will be days when you accidentally get pulled back into the whirlwind of work and feel guilty for breaking your boundaries. At those times, don't be too hard on yourself. Take a deep breath and gently return to the rhythm you desire. The most important thing is not absolute perfection, but the will not to give up your right to live happily. Every time you refuse a non-urgent call after hours, you are voting for a freer and more peaceful life. Start writing your own commitment today. It doesn't have to be something grand. It could simply be, I commit to having dinner with my family without holding my phone. Or, I commit to leaving the office on time at least 3 times a week. These small steps will add up, creating a massive change in the quality of your life. You work hard because you deserve a bright future, but you also deserve to be happy right here in this present moment. Look again at the ultimate purpose of all efforts. We work to have the means to build a home, to have the health to care for our loved ones, and to have the wisdom to contribute to society. Never let the means become the end. And never let work become the cage that imprisons your soul. You are the master of your life. You are the captain of your own ship of time. Steer it toward the docks of joy, serenity, and meaningful experiences. Finally, I want to send you a sincere wish. May you find joy in your work, but also find peace in the quiet moments of daily life. May you have the courage to let go of invisible pressures and enough love to cherish yourself. Remember, working to live is the key to opening a life truly worth living. If the sharing throughout this journey has brought value to you, please help us spread this message. Like to support Simple English Daily? Share this lesson with those who also need to find balance in their lives. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so we can meet again in future meaningful lessons. Thank you for listening and accompanying me until this very moment. I wish you a life of peace and happiness.